Something is happening! Someone help! He's trying to escape! If you can hear this, he's breaking the multiverse. Phoenix! Apocalypse! Ultron Sigma! His new heralds!
I am free.
Yup, it's the Chief. Remember when I made a video saying Marvel vs. Capcom should be rebooted and like half of the community lost their minds? Funny enough, my concepts went viral and I did get some messages from developers who worked for Capcom and Marvel who, to be honest, were glazing me over my ideas. But since y'all kicking down my door for more information and details, I guess I'll break it down for you. Marvel vs. Capcom Reboot might become a reality as my one-shot video reached all the right people. Some saying the idea of using the multiverse and erasing MVCI from canon while bringing in the other titles would break the internet and could make this the greatest fighting game of all time. And I agree, because I planned it that way, from the roster to the gameplay and even to the visuals. If you follow my plan from start to finish, you will have a diamond. Just for recap's sake, let me break down what I said once more so you can get the whole idea. The visuals and graphics are at the top of the list, and for good reason. This will not be a 3D game like MVCI, but the inverse. It will be a 2.5D or True D, referencing Arc System Works breaking the internet with Dragon Ball FighterZ visuals and artistic tone, which to this day hasn't been rivaled, and that's a shame. I chose them because I believe they are the only ones for the job. RE Engine is great, but Capcom developers have not figured out how to mimic that style, therefore they would use a hyper-realistic approach which will not go well with the community. Questions will arise such as, is this all you guys can do? In short, yes it is. If Capcom thinks otherwise, prove it, because right now, y'all seem like a one-trick pony and it's kind of boring. The teaser and main trailers are also extremely important, but since I love y'all, I'm gonna add a third. So this will be a gameplay demonstration, but there's a twist. Here we'll show all the Versus title games from the X-Men vs. Street Fighter to the modern era, even the re-release of the popular MVC collection. The same way we showed the Mega Man Zero transform from 2D to 3D and finally 2.5D aka True D, but with Cyclops and Ryu clashing, shattering the ugly MVCI graphics and showing the Arc System comic shaded style. From then on, I'll show the gameplay mix in with cutscenes involving the story and has the girl from MVC2 commenting what's happening, such as combos, supers, the story, and gasping at certain characters returning. This would be used to hit that nostalgia nerve right on the dot, and also would attract the mainstream who honestly has a bad perception of the Versus series due to Infinite's failure. The music will be remade. Tracks specifically take you for a ride, but mixed in with the remix by Natsu Fuji. Visuals will be mixed in with classic VHS style for another secret reason not to be spoiled in this moment. The roster is also a make or break because people want variety and it will have a huge one at base. Probably the biggest one to date in MVC history. There should be no reason to take away any legacy characters whatsoever. I'm sparing no expense and we're going all the way in. That means new costumes as well. And I want to say we have solved the dreaded Arc System Work costume problem using an AI tool we developed. No, this does not mean people will lose their jobs at all. It does mean we'll allow developers to cut the work by 90% and just keep going, costume after costume. So basically, instead of taking 6 months for one costume, it'll take maybe 1 or 2. But that's for multiple costumes. Do you smell what I'm putting out? Also, color schemes can get even more deep and more creative. It's freaking amazing. I can't wait for y'all to see it. I will also state that my roster will piss you off. I know it will. And it will probably cause a civil war in the community of MVC and fighting game characters in general. The reason being, I'm actually using classic Capcom titles that most of you have, trust me, never heard of. Red Earth, Star Gladiator. Oh yeah, we're going there. So take that as you like. The Marvel side was relatively easier to make since we all know what people want in terms of superheroes and the MCU and stuff like that, so we know. And DLC was also a major piece of cake. You know, through me making this concept for MVC Reboot and talking to many people, I've noticed that there's a subsection of people who want to know about the politics. Yes, they want to know what kind of politics MVC Reboot will have. And I was kind of stunned. I was like, what do you mean politics? This is not a political game. And some people said it's a right for you as a minority to make this game have politics. Like, for instance, you gotta make the woman in front and center. And I said, I don't believe in that nonsense. You see, I grew up in an era where, like, Ridley from Alien was the most bad A character in that movie. Or what about Lara Croft, who was also a bad A? Or other characters, like Zathena, or was it Xena, who was like a cool, like, I think Aztec or like warrior princess. I grew up on that. And I'll say things like this. Anything political that's been in Marvel with the MCU will not be in this game. So if you're hoping for some kind of, you know, weird stance I have as a designer, I don't have that. I believe in making actual good video games and not being preachy to anyone in general. It is not my purpose to preach to you about who to vote for, what to believe in, or any of that nonsense whatsoever. So if you're hoping for Iceman to like men, it's not going to be here. If you're hoping for Captain Marvel to have her new costume, nope, she's going to have her classic 80s, 90s costume, and yes, she will be busty. I'm sorry, okay? I'm very, very sorry. You think that people have to placate to your beliefs, but I'm not one of them. Now, that does not mean I hate other people or different genders or whatever you want to say, but I've noticed this very often, to the point where some of you have tried to actually cancel me for making my game concepts because they don't have enough political adversary battle or hype in them, and I'm not that kind of person. I'm sorry. I will say this, I grew up in the South, so we already don't care about you in terms of whatever you believe in. I grew up in the deep South, you know, playing fighting games, playing all types of games on Capcom, on Atari, on PS1, Kingdom Hearts, some of my favorite games of all time, all right? But yes, this game will probably piss off a lot of the right people, especially these game journalists who want to, you know, take away power from the gamers, and I'm not for that. Okay? I've had many people try to offer me big bags to become one with things like the baby, and I'm not with it. Because although, yes, money is important, I just refuse to be a part of anything that will be detrimental to my career as a designer, as a concept artist, and from me saying no, I've actually gained more favor over time. There is a sort of manifestation to my concepts. It's as if when I speak, things set in motion. I don't know how it works, but hey, if you're watching me to make your dream concept or even bring back your favorite video game franchise from ruin, you know where to find me. The main one y'all keep asking me for actually is Dino Crisis. And for the life of me, I can't seem to figure out how to make that game successful in modern day. Or do I? Anyway, Marvel vs. Capcom Reboot has developers in a chokehold, literally. But just remember how the curse of the Red Star works. Bring me on the project and hands off. Let me cook. Or don't and go through financial destruction. Long live Marvel and Capcom. You got my number. Use it. And always remember, don't nobody do it like me, the Chief. Chief's out. Adios, auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir.
Space, pussy all in my face, money down for my case. I can't lie, life's great. I can't lie, life's great. And you know this shit been good. And you know I'm from the head, but I made it out there. But I made it out the woods. should. Smoking on dough every day as I should. Counting on money every day as I should. Fucking on hoes every day as I should. I'm a big boss, yeah, I feel like shit. Don't care about cost, I'ma make this flood. Acting bad, baby, bitch, right on that. My nigga walked in, had a heart attack. I'm 800, I'm part of that. We gotta say, I was gonna follow back. We shoot at these niggas, no popping back. I'm hitting that trigger, I'm